Hello, Scorpio. This is your forecast for that of November 2021, and this goes for all of you that also have your moon or rising sign in Scorpio. You want to listen to all of them. Why? Because we have a lot going on here in November that's quite deep and transformative. We get a lunar eclipse this month on November 19th. And of course, all these eclipses, even though it's just a partial eclipse, it still has that transformative energy to change. And for you, Scorpio, it's showing up in your seventh house for partnerships. That could be partnerships in your marriage, anybody you work with closely, one-on-one. What it is going to do, and it has moved over Uranus in this area for you. And Uranus is all about where you have been working, wanting to change up certain levels within your relationship. So this eclipse now is looking at what works. That is great. You will keep that. You will harbor it close to heart. But what no longer works, this eclipse is going to show you exactly that too. And it might be time to shut the door to certain aspects. I'm not saying cutting your partner out of your life by any means, but it's really shutting the door on what no longer works. You might have already been working on the change and bringing that up in your relationship. So there has been time for growth, especially here this summer when things have been moving slowly with all the planets retrograde. You've given it time, you've nurtured it, you've dedicated yourself to it. So your partner should have had lots of time to heed those messages and kind of match you, start growing up to where harmony can be found. And if that has happened, well, more love to both of you. But for those of you still working through and not being heard, that won't sit with you much longer. It's like patience running out. It's air out of the balloon, and that's the door just shutting on it. So in that sense, we have to also respect and be happy for eclipses. Help us move forward, because it's the power of three full moons, put it that way, right? So it kind of gives us that jump. It's actually a quantum jump. So we got to be happy that it can give us that oomph to get on with things and catch up with ourselves, not lagging because we're waiting on your partner. 27 degrees Taurus, you're going to be all on board with this, Scorpio. And you could also help feed it to positive results with that new moon that's taking place on November 4th, which is in your first house. And the first house, Scorpio, is you, the essence of you, who you are, what you want. And that new moon is going to be super powerful on November 4th, having just passed there. The sun, which is you, is in the first house, which is you, all right? Mars is there. That's your physical drive, ambition, and goal. And so this new moon is coming in with where you should place your attention on, this is what I want. This is what I deserve. This is my goals. This is what I'm wanting to manifest. And of course, in any kind of manifestation, it has to come from mind, soul, and body first. So you're going to be on the 4th, looking at what it is that you want to draw in, okay? So be super focused. This only happens once a year, that you get a new moon in your sign. And next year, Mars won't be there. You've got the blessing of Mars being there, really powering you up this year to put those intentions out and be behind them. And when you do, well, of course, we attract synchronicity, right? But since that full moon is in an eclipse, 2 weeks later, you might just see some instant manifestations of those intentions. I'm loving that. I'm loving it for you, because I know how your heart and your goal works, Scorpio. You are always wanting the best results for the higher good of anybody involved. That's you coming from your ego perception, not the lower stinger, right? And so this is really a magical time if you can work this correctly. What I also love to add to it is that Venus has been moving through your second house here in October for values. Okay, so what is values? Yes, it can represent money. Second house does. It's the house of Taurus, money and security and so forth. So some of you have seen extra money coming in, but also money going out, spending on Venusian things, right? But the second house is also about self-love and self-value, who you are on the inside of what it is you want to express. So October was kind of leading the path where the Sun and Mars will follow into looking at your self-esteem, self-worth. So I can see November can be a good money month where more money will be coming in. And of course, that's just going to be increasing as the Sun and Moon, Sun and Mars gets in there as well. So you got that for the first week there of November, and then it will move into your third house of communication. Not just communication, but also travel, short distance travel, like a weekend getaway, right? Or just a road trip out of town to feel that you have a little wind under your wings. The third house calls for that because we want to feel at times that we can be free. And when we're out and about, it's like our mindset shifts a little bit. Third house is ruled by Gemini and Mercury, which is thought. So some of us feel that we can think clearer when we're out of the house in a different area where we can allow a different perspective on things to come to us. So you can see maybe that need will grow on you here in this coming month. That it is your birth month, so happy birthday, Scorpios, right? And I think for you to get out of town will just be a blessing, actually. We still have Uranus and Neptune retrograde, so they're coming a little bit later. But what I can say about Jupiter opening up right now, it's expanding this area of you within the foundation of your home, your family, the roots of who you are on the inside. It's that base of yourself. Some of you might have just moved or have thoughts about wanting to move and extend the spaciousness of your home, to have more space, more wind under your wings. Saturn there is wanting you to look at security for what you are building within your home and your family. So real estate can be something super important for you this month. For others, it could be, how can I help my family? Because it represents the family area and Jupiter generosity. So some of you might be supporting or helping your family. Some of you might be seeing family from abroad or afar, since Jupiter rules anything, at distance from us, long distance travel and so forth. So some of you might be traveling to see family abroad. Some of you might have family coming to visit you. I feel it's a very karmic time for a lot of you Scorpions now to see what Saturn can do to kind of just balance the scales. Some of you might not have seen your family for a longer period of time due to the lockdown that we've had, or just Saturn being in this area as well. Think about the rings, we can feel a little separated with those rings, but Jupiter's going to bring this in. So at least some good news there when it comes to family, family members, and what is important to you. Mercury has been retrograding and giving extended time in your 12th house for thinking, processing a lot that's behind the scenes in your subconsciousness. Now, that is going to be moving on the 6th into your first house. So after the 6th, and we've just had that new moon on the 4th, so Mercury in your first house, along with the Sun and Mars, it's communication. You're going to be communicating what you've been thinking about under this long period of Mercury retrograde. That's going to surface. It's all going to come out, and you're going to feel good about it too, as you just let it out with your highest truth, your deepest truth. Of course, it's going to be in the sign of Scorpio, which is you, right? So I feel that's going to set you free in so many ways too. There's Scorpio. So listen, that's the short and the skinny for this month. Go listen to your moon and rising sign reading, and I'll see you next month in December. Have a good one. Bye.